Hello and welcome to episode 17 of Baking Bread.li. In the previous one, we kind of started going into site structure and the pages that are going to be on the website, like the actual useful ones, as opposed to what has been necessary so far, which was having a homepage and then having posts and then having a blog. It kind of evolved from that. We're now starting to look at the proper actual content on the site. And I created a simple navigation. I tested it as well with one of the markdown files. So now we've got a YAML file, which is listing all our pages for the site in a top level navigation. So those items are now in there and we can play around with them, add a takeaway, edit them. It's now a functioning piece of the kind of CMS, but in file format, in a flat file method. Anyway, I think we set up this issue in our previous video as well, and I started. No, I didn't. I think I did this after the video. I put some notes down saying I wanted to go into what the site structure would be, so like a front page, and then to go to languages, what types of languages the CMS uses, the frameworks, the type, and then you've got blog as well that we've already got. Need to establish pages and what they contain, so actually what they do. And then this morning, 23 hours ago, no, that must have been yesterday, last night, I went into more detail on what each of the sections could be. So we've got a blog, and then we've got CMSs, as in like the actual directory, and then we've got a submit. We've obviously got to have a submit so people can actually submit their own CMSs or CMSs they like, and it helps create a community-led site where the content is managed overall by me, but all I do is I overlook other people's contributions and make sure everyone's reading from the same page, as it were. And one of the sites that does it really well is Beautiful Open, which is just open source projects that have good looking websites, I guess. I think that's what the whole intention is. And the way you submit to that is through a pull request. But you have to adhere to like certain set of rules, which is good because then you can't really get it wrong. So yes, there's that. There's an about section or about page, kind of does what it says on the tin, explains what the site is about. And I put front page because we can't deny that there is technically a page on the front page or on the home page. So that is going to have something on it. It can't just be a splash page or anything. It's going to have content on it. And that will just probably be like the first few listings of the CMSs that have been contributed or added to the site. So that will just be like the first listings and that, or maybe like most popular at a later date, but we'll have to go into a little bit more complexity with how Jekyll works and how it will produce those items. And then an edit, I think this was this morning, a jobs page. This is an interesting thing because I see jobs popping up on Twitter all the time, and every time I see it, or every time I see one, whether it be somebody looking for someone or somebody looking for a job as well, I just retweet it because I feel like it's just gonna help their progress. And I've been there looking for a job, and the best way to do it is just to keep sharing it out, because you could, jobs fly past and you may never see it, and it could have been right for you. You just need to be notified. So that's why I kind of retweet it. Anyway, I see them all the time on there, and I thought, well, maybe there's a way where I can put these all onto the site and have them as a list on there, and kind of reduce the amount of spam that maybe other people that I know on Twitter might think that it's a bit spammy of me to like retweet jobs all the time. I don't think people are too bothered, but at least then it's kind of all in one place. And we had a few like replies on here, well, one or two, and having a jobs page, as Ben said. Ben is the guy that I have the Bit podcast with, and he was talking about maybe the jobs board isn't really kind of like what you should have in the site. I was like, yes and no. That I kind of agree with that. It doesn't really fit the criteria of the website. But then he kind of went, well, if it's to do with CMSs and like being a dev in that area, so like WordPress are looking for a job or looking for someone, quite a big title thing that would probably be advertised somewhere else entirely. But maybe someone needs a developer that's familiar with WordPress, or somebody that's familiar with Magento or something like that, something CMS related, or somebody who needs somebody who can develop a website on WordPress, like a freelance job and that. So you can kind of make it related to the website's content. And then we spoke about like ways to filter out the CMS types, so like language and then cost. That's a good point, I mean, we're always looking for something for free, but then again, we also want to look for something that costs money, but for a particular reason, because it's good or it has some kind of system in there that's worth the money. And then whether it's like hosted, whether you host it yourself and you have to pay for hosting, or is it a platform of some kind where you just log in and then start building a site inside it, or start adding your content to it? What kind of content the CMS can handle, whether it be just a straight up blogging system, or an e-commerce system, or like a one page kind of site creation tool, or a site management tool. And then like filter by rating, which is something I need to look into a bit more. It's going to be quite difficult with Jekyll, because people will have to like vote on it. Maybe you could be something kind of clever with discuss comments or something like that. I think I want to put discuss comments into it, because that seems like a pretty sharp tool to have in there, and you can just whack it straight in, and people can discuss about the CMS straight on there without like too much complexity in code and complexity in like how do people use it, because they know how to use discuss because they're logged into it. And then we have Corstian. I'm really sorry if I'm butchering your name there, but he made a strong contribution to the discussion, which I appreciate. And like the filtering method would be really cool to like filter down with multiple levels of filtering. So a free PHP CMS that you host yourself, so you're filtering on multiple levels there. And I thought that was a really good idea, but at the minute the site isn't, there's no actual CMSs on the site, so it might not be worth doing all these kind of all these filtering methods when there's nothing actually to filter. So I don't want to make the website too powerful and then find out I'm only filtering about 3 different CMSs. So that will be like a kind of powerful feature request, I thought. So that should be considered for a later date. Definitely considered though. And yes, I've just posted this now, an updated sitemap. Pretty much what I said before, but taking into consideration what's been discussed in this GitHub issue thread. And it's the front page, it's CMS's page, so front page and CMS's page would probably be kind of overlapping in content, but at least CMS's page might kind of cut straight to it and not have a featured header or some kind of feature explanation on there. It would just go to CMS's and it would just be like a really long list, whereas the front page might have a shorter list of the latest ones, and then some kind of explanation at the top. I'm thinking one of those kind of block header things where it explains it well, and then maybe like a search thing going on. In fact, what springs to mind is the new Ruby Gems website. I think it's just a big colourful block, and one line explanation does the job. Find, install, and publish Ruby Gems, and you got search, and that's it. And then we've got kind of a few kind of things of like interest in that, and that's it. Cool. I like that. I like how that's so kind of straight to it. We've got an explanation here. The kind of difference with mine would be we would have a few kind of latest CMSs added to the list, but it would just be like this, where it's no fluffiness to it. It's here we are. You want to get, let's go get it. Very, very, developer minded, where you come to the site, you've been told what it is, it looks good, it kind of points you straight to that white box to say start searching for something, or if you're after something a bit more general, you can click on the items. So yeah, that's good inspiration. Maybe I should be listing up inspiration for design. Sorry, I'm a bit out of breath. Let me have a drink. Yeah, maybe I should be listing the kind of sites that look good and kind of marry up to what I want to go for. So maybe like a notes issue, maybe like inspiration. I'm gonna quickly do that now. Let's just have it somewhere. For lack of a better place for noting stuff. Where would it be best? Let's just put it into an issue for now. Let's just put it straight into an issue. And put visual inspiration sites that are of the same ilk. Is that the right word? Where is it? Look up in dictionary. A type of person or thing similar to one already referred to. Yes, of the same ilk. The same ilk or style. The same ilk or style that I am aiming for. Inspirational in both design, in both layout and style. And so one of them is Ruby Gems. So this is a bit of a spontaneous video, really. How are we doing for time? 14 minutes. Okay, we'll try and keep this a half an hour because it's just kind of discussion. We're not really kind of going into code too much. I may relist those items into our YAML file so they're actually there, and then have the pages with notes on them to say what the pages will have on them. I think that would be a good idea. And I'll put that live on the site so you can see this is going to be the site map, and then have like placeholder text to say this will have this on it, and this will have this on it, and this will have this on it. Let's put this and Should have like kind of put it under enhancement, I guess. Lack of a better place. Ruby gems. What else is there? There's npm JS. See, that's kind of right. There seems to be a bit more cluttered than I would like it, than I'd like mine to be. They've obviously got a lot of things to document. There was a site that I pocketed. I use Get Pocket or Pocket to bookmark things. Limelight. This was nice. This was just like a simple site that seems to list out stuff that's interesting. Password management apps. I think they had. What did they have on it the other day? Alternatives to Google Analytics. Yeah, I quite liked this because it was very simple. So I'm gonna put that into the list of things. What else? I'm gonna put a message to say, please add. So there we go. We've got kind of some inspirational links to look at. And what I'm thinking about doing is then doing some bit of stuff and chucking some stuff on Dribble. And I like using Dribble the proper way. I like putting stuff on there that's like really half baked. And just like, colors or fonts and things like that, and just get some real like feedback on it and say, do people like this bit more, and using that like little window to gauge a response from it, and then using the kind of iterations thing, because you can kind of do a bounce off an image and then kind of progressing it more. It's almost like a visual version of forking. You kind of go, right, well, I've got that, so now I'll bounce off that and then produce something that's a little bit more refined with the colors that people chose and the fonts that people liked. And, you keep kind of going down and down and down. And once you kind of hit the sweet spot, you can kind of continue on with it. For layout, it's going to be a bit more difficult. It may be something that I do like in the browser, where I'm structurally putting stuff in depending on like how the content is working. Like we need to actually get some CMSs listed in there, so we know what details we need to be looking out for. That's a good point to make. Like we need to have some actual CMSs in there with some actual numbers and bits of data to go, right, well, let's design our layout and our pages around this stuff that helps people to read it and to take in the information. Yes, good. What I'm going to do is I posted up episode 16 today, and because we're on site structure, this is now like out of sync with the master. So if I do git pull origin and then master, you'll see that it comes up like this with a merge. And what this means is it's merging in the changes that have been made to the master. So you're almost kind of resyncing up your diverted branch with what's currently master. So it's ahead, but it's on a different branch. So it's ahead of well, it's in line with master, but then we've got our changes on top. So it's already given me a commit message. So I'm just going to do : W and Q to write and quit. I think if I just quit, it just does it anyway, but I'm like making sure. And it's added in the episode. That's it. That's all that's going to be added. And the pluses, I believe, are the lines of code. So, yes, so now what we can do is open up Coda, maybe go into the project, go into our data file, our nav, open that up in Coda, and we've got our page structure. And what I shall also do is do our command to run Jekyll. So bundle exec Jekyll serve and put the watch parameter on. And that will run our site. Reading the config file. There's our IP. Oh, there's our local server. So do that. Oops. Type that in wrong, maybe. There we go. There we go. So this is our site. Now we need. What I need to do is I need to scroll down to here and copy this. And I'm going to literally just copy and paste this so we can see what we are doing. We'll flip over to this. We've got front page. We don't need that one because that is the front page. Meh. So what we do need is we need CMSs. So that'll be that. And that will be pretty much the same. So CMSs. The double S thing might be a bit of an issue. I'm not really bothered by that. Submit. Let's change that to submit. Change that to submit. Little s. About. About. Change that to about. We've already got blog. And we're going to chuck jobs in there. And that'll be on JJobs. Cool. Right. Let's get rid of that. Bam. Done. Right. I'm going to quickly flip over to our documentation site. Whoops. Not that site. This one. Okie doke. Because I'm pretty sure I didn't have to put into our pages the got readme. There was one in. Is there one in here? I swear what I did was I was able to make the page just do that instead of just being. Sorry, I'm not explaining myself well. In the other video, what happened was we created the languages page, and if we pop it open this way, I need to remember to come to the Finder file. So languages, and we created this languages file. And we put hi there in there, and we didn't have the permalink. So what happened was it didn't come up. It came up as languages.html, and we don't want languages.html. We want languages. We want just this. And I had to do it in the page, which isn't a biggie. It's not a major problem, but it was annoying. I was like, why can't it just sort out the pages on its own accord? So I thought, let's just jump in here and take a look at how I did it in here. But all I've got is permalink and pretty. That's all I've got. And I'm pretty sure that I've got that in here. Maybe a little bit more specific. There it is, the config file. Yeah, blog, title. So that I think that's sorting out our permalinks for the blog, and that's it. So maybe what I need to do is I need to change this. I need to change languages and rename it, don't I? So I need to let me rename this to our about page. So we'll call this about, and then we shall rename languages to about. There, it didn't change or anything. So we've got it in there, but the other way would do this, and that's how I'm doing it in the documentation site. I've just realized is that, like, for example, getting started has an index file in there. So static pages or just normal pages are in a directory. So what's happening is it's flattening that and putting an index file inside a directory that is called, in this case, it would be called about. So that's how I'm getting around the use of using permalink method. But that's not really a problem. We can just do that. We can just do that here and just, instead of making like extra directories and stuff. Although you could create a pages directory and then write the permalinks in there. That's interesting. We could create a directory called pages and then segregate them out. So then pages wouldn't exist. Let's try it. Let's try that. Because we can write the permalink in here, so it doesn't actually does it actually matter where we put this file, where we put the about page? Let's put about like this. And then what we'll do is we'll then shift save and we'll do one called submit as well. And just save that to the root and change this to submit and change this to submit. So we've got a couple of pages kind of floating around. We can close all these. So now we've got about and then we've got submit. So they are there. So now what happens if we go to our Finder and then, wow, that looks ugly. And then make one called pages and then put submit and about and maybe even blog, because that's got a permalink in there. When we've got title stuff going on in here, we can then move that out. Could we move index as well? Let's try it. So pages. So we've got all of these in here. And then what we can do is we can then do permalink. And then we just put a slash. Ooh, see what happens with that. Submit blog thing. Oh, it's not changed. That's interesting. Let's see what it's producing in here. Look, index is in here. So now, if I go here, 404, well, forbidden. So maybe index has to be at index, which is fine. You know, we can deal with that. Maybe that will get renamed later. Well, we could rename that whatever we like in reality. So if we go to site again, no pages. We just got about, blog. Got blog with stuff going on in there with the index. Index, JS, and submit. So now if we refresh this, we've got blog, we've got about, we've got submit. Awesome. So that was a good experiment. I'm sorry if it may have been hard to follow, but all I was testing out was the concept of whether I can hide away all the top level pages into a pages directory without them all floating in this directory here, which is the root. We do have to have index there, but I'm wondering whether we can do that and move that into pages. Possibly not, just because it's the root, and how do you really describe the root? I wonder if let's do like a quick Jekyll permalink root. That's all base URL. There was something about root directory. It seems to be closed. Oh, this doesn't support custom root URL path as config parameter. Possibly something that's not even worth trying to work out. So now we've got our main pages in here, so we could then like go to town on these and create some other ones. So I'm doing Command Shift Save trick. So CMSs, should we do that CMSs properly? And that goes as our pages directory, and then we do CMSs and put CMSs. Ooh. And then we'll do it again and call this one jobs. And then call that jobs, and then jobs. And then we've got jobs, blog, about, submit, CMSs. I wonder as well whether we can knock these into inline elements, or is that not even the point? That's no point now, because it's an LI list. At least that kind of defines these as separate pages. Just haven't got the bullet points next to them. Whoa. Let's control cancel that. Git status. Okay. I'm going to commit this all in one go because I'm crazy. And we're just going to do git add dot, and then do git status. It knows blog has moved into pages, and everything else is new or been deleted. So git commit sorts new page structure as simple markdown files. Main pages are organized into pages directory for a cleaner repo. Git push. Cool. So now what I'll do is I shall make that a pull request. Well, actually what I'll do is I'll write some extra notes on these pages to say what they'll actually do. I have the notes from that issue from here, and explain what each of the pages are and what they'll do, and we'll take it from there. I may do some extra note taking and things like that, but I will try and make these videos a bit more focused on the interesting parts, maybe kind of like post dribble work. So like I'll put some design stuff on there, because I feel like showing design stuff is going to be a little bit tedious just watching me draw stuff. It might as well be like a blooming Twitch live stream or something. So I think what will be best is to kind of like do posts that are, or do videos I should say, that are looking back on what I've done so far and what I'm going to do, and like peak points in the progress of the site. So this was almost kind of like expected, where the videos would drop off more on like bigger intervals, whereas at the start everything's like major setup stuff and kind of the root of the plant, as it were. So now stuff's starting to grow into separations, and you don't want to see the bits in between the branches. You want to see the branches themselves and the crux of what we're creating. So I will make some notes on the site. I'll make some more notes in the GitHub issues, and I will probably be chucking some stuff on Dribble as well into somewhere. It'll be nice to use Dribble again in proper fashion. So yes, I will see you in the next video. Thanks.